Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. Happy post-solstice. I guess we're still kind of technically in that solstice window. I'm hopping on because I just want to connect with you. I've been feeling like this little nudge to do a live for the past couple days. And I've had so much going on that I haven't really made the time to do so. And also was kind of like, okay, well, what really would I talk about? What would I share? So today was really feeling like, okay, let's just get on and let's just talk about the solstice and let's talk about themes that I am feeling right now or sensing right now through my own experience. Nice to see you too, friend. I'm so happy you're here. Kind of what I'm experiencing in my own life, good morning, Enigma, what I'm seeing in my client work, what I'm seeing in, my conversations with friends and colleagues and all of that. Also, we're going to draw some tarot cards today. And then I also want to just tell you about a couple of events. Well, one event and then one thing. So there is a replay. I did a gathering for the solstice. I guess that was Wednesday night. Was it Wednesday already? I don't know. I don't even know what day it is half the time. Anyway, I did a solstice gathering and there's a link to the replay. This was a beautiful, beautiful journey of connection with the higher self, soul, creator self, whatever you call that aspect that you are. And it was a really, really powerful, lovely, lovely experience of expansion, of this infusion of your own source light. So if you're interested in that, there's a Sendowl, a replay. You can go to my Sendowl and download it. And there's a link in my link tree. Also, I want to talk about Dragon Alchemy really briefly. Dragon Alchemy is this amazing, amazing 6-week course. I'm doing it in partnership with 22 Teachings. I did it once on my own several months ago, the Dragon Alchemy. I think I did it at the beginning of the year. And I'm going to be redoing it coming up starting on July 1st with 22 Teachings. Dragon Alchemy is amazing. This is like alchemy in real time. This is personal, transformational, alchemical magic working with these elemental dragons. So it's 6 weeks. I have a team of dragons that I work with, 5 dragons, 1 for each element, and then the spirit dragon. So working with these elemental dragons, and each week we're going to be working with a different dragon, working with a different element, really going through an alchemical, transformative experience of your relationship with these elements. The beautiful thing about elemental work is, earth, air, fire, water, and then ether or spirit as the 5th element. We all have these elemental qualities within us. We're literally made up of the elements, and these elemental experiences that we carry in our body, that we carry in our cells, that we carry in our energy field, our emotional field, our DNA, our relationship with the different elements and their properties and how they influence our lives and how we work with them actively and creatively, and finding a place within ourselves where these elements are in balance, these elements are in harmony, and we really begin to understand our relationship with the elements and how they influence us and how they can really support us in creating. And these dragons that I work with, I've been working with them off and on for, about 10 years now. And each week we work with a different dragon that corresponds with the element, and it is alchemy in real time with the dragon as your partner for that week. And then on the 6th week, we go through a process of you meeting your own team of dragons, which is so exciting and so wonderful. So if you're interested in dragon magic, if you're interested in alchemy work, if you're interested in elemental properties and how to work with them in your life, and just a deeper understanding of what they are within you and the power that they offer you, the beautiful thing about working with the elements is they are the creative part of the creative juice and the raw materials that we use within our daily life, right? If you think about the influence of the elements and how our physical world is made up of these elements, and these elemental properties have a very real influence on our lives and can be used and accessed as building blocks for your experience, for your intentional creations. And here's the thing, you're already working with the elements, even if you don't know it. So this is about shifting from an unconscious experience with your elemental properties and these elemental beings and working with them consciously. So we dive into the tarot properties and astrological correspondences. We dive into plants and how to work with different plants within each week and within the different elements. We talk about all sorts of ways that the elements show up in all sorts of layers of our awareness. So Dragon Alchemy is so amazing, and I would love for you to be a part of it. So again, you can go to the link in my link tree or go to 22teachings.com. It's my friend Naha, her magic school in Los Angeles. And she is partnering with me for this one. I have a lot of history with 22 Teachings, and I do a lot of courses with them throughout the year. And they are legit. Like, if you're looking for a magic school that is the real deal, 22 Teachings is key. Perfect. Like, such integrity there and everything that they do. That's where I took my tarot course, was through Nahat 22 Teachings. Anyway, just wanted to tell you about that. The replay for the Solstice gathering, if you're interested in that, beautiful energy work. It's 90 minutes of channeled information and then about 45 minutes. So it's like 45 minutes of channeled information and messages and then about 45 minutes of energy work. Really deep, beautiful energy work. So if you're interested in that, you can find the download in my Linktree link. And then the 22 Teachings Dragon Alchemy course is also in the Linktree. How are you all doing? Like, what was the solstice like for you? I want to kind of switch gears now and talk about the solstice and some themes that I've been seeing. Give me an emoji or share with me in the comments, like, what's been going on for you? What has been present for you? What has your experience been? I find that in these spiritual, what's the word I want to talk about? In these constructs that we often create, especially in our spiritual circles, it's been definitely crazy and intense, Enigma. Anything that we talk about, something being a portal, something being, an important date, something being, an important astrological alignment or an important influence, the Schumann resonance, the astrology, the energy, whatever we're talking about, the date on the calendar, all of these, an alignment with a specific star or constellation. All of these things are really an attempt for us to have an understanding from our human level of awareness that helps us connect to the innate and intrinsic understanding that we carry within us. The beings that you are, that I am, that we are, these infinite, eternal, boundless, limitless beings, we already have an understanding. It is built into our DNA. It is in our cells. You think about it. This body and the elements that, and the properties and the materials that came together to create this physical body and this physical world, none of this is new, right? This body has been a star. This body has been a flower. This body has been, in the ocean, in its, in the water and the iron in our blood and all of the elemental ingredients essentially that make us up. None of it is new, right? Science tells us this. We are not creating or destroying matter or energy, we are only transforming it. So when I break something down into its elemental properties or its fundamental bits, then I'm using it to create something else, right? Baking to me is a beautiful example of this. Baking is pure alchemy. You're taking these raw ingredients and you're mixing them together in the right proportions, in the right, amounts, in the right order, and then you're putting them within this, catalytic environment, the heat of the oven, which is activating these elemental ingredients and creating a transformation. And we're turning eggs and flour and sugar and, butter into a cake. It's essentially what we are, right? When we were created and when this body was grown, our mothers were consuming food and sunlight and water and, they were consuming elements essentially, which was feeding their body, which was feeding us and growing us within them. So this idea that we're somehow separate from anything is false. We are made from the same thing as the sun and the moon and the stars and the trees and the plants and the flowers and the little furry friends that we call our pets. So we are not separate from any of it. We are a part of all of it. And so when we're talking about the solstice or the new moon or the full moon or the Schumann resonance or the tides or the alignment with the Pleiades or the galactic sun or whatever the thing is that we're talking about, this is really the human mind attempting to understand from a logical, rational, more conscious layer of understanding that's just our mind trying to make sense of the information that runs through our body, through our veins, through our DNA, and in our cells. Hey, T. Kim Nu, nice to see you. I'm so happy everybody's here. So when I'm talking about the solstice, and we hear this all the time, right? The 8-8 portal, the 10-10 portal, the 11-11 portal, it seems like there's always a portal or an opening or an alignment, and it can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes, and it can make us feel a little bit crazy. Because it's like, oh my God, how many events do I have to sign up for? How many things do I have to participate in? And oh my God, am I going to miss the download? Am I going to miss the activation? What about this? What if I was asleep when it was 10:10, on 10 a.m., on 10:10, date, whatever? No, you're not missing out on anything. This is not an exclusive universe that we live in. The reality that we live in is inclusive. It is coherent, cohesive, and it is generative. So the mere fact that you are alive and kicking and breathing today and have the capacity to, engage with me here digitally means that you are engaging with all that is. Now, whether or not it's conscious is a different thing. Whether or not it's intentional is a different thing, right? Anybody can jump in the swimming pool. Anybody can be affected by the body of water, but everyone has a different level of ability to swim and work with the currents. And so some people are going to have a much easier time swimming and moving with the currents, and some people are going to flail a little bit. Some people are going to need assistance. So whenever I'm talking about or offering an event like for the solstice, it's not to say that you need me to access this energy or information. I am just a vessel. The reason that I offer these gatherings and that I offer the replay of these gatherings, which you can find again on my link tree and my bio here, is because there is something that is really magical about collective intention. When you get together with a group of individuals who are also setting the intention to receive and connect and to be opened to and to work with the energies that are present, and these moments of solstices and equinoxes and certain dates in the calendar or certain dates in the lunar or stellar activity, it is a heightened thing, right? It's a heightened experience, right? It's like saying the weather. During the summer, where I am right now, it's always warm. So I can rest assured that pretty much from, April, May on through the end of August, September, it's going to be hot outside. But there are certain days when it's hotter. There are certain days when it's really intense. There are certain days when it's even more heat than normal. So when I'm talking about, or anybody is talking about this solstice or this equinox, I am never saying that I'm the one that has access to something that you don't. What I am simply offering is an opportunity to gather with other like-minded, open-hearted seekers who want to come together with a shared intention. And shared intention is real. It does create an effect, and it does create a magnification of whatever's happening based upon our shared intention. And if anybody out there is telling you that without them you're not going to get the ascension activation, bullshit. That's the church. That's like the church saying, well, you need me to get to heaven. Baby, you do not. You are the universe in a body. Heaven is within you. You have heaven right now in the palm of your hand, as you also have hell, right? That's the whole point, is heaven and hell is now. And heaven and hell are both a choice. And the tarot shows us that, right? We're going to draw some tarot cards here in a bit. But like the devil card is a perfect example of that. The devil card is one of those cards. Hey, Nicole, nice to see you. Thanks for the round of applause. The devil card is one of those cards that when you pull the card, almost everybody's like, oh God. And even tarot readers often, especially new tarot readers in the beginning, are like, oh my God, the devil card. The devil just represents your relationship with your physical and your material world. The symbolism that is present in the devil card tells you quite clearly, this is just asking you to examine where you are a slave to your material desires, where you are a slave essentially to the material world, where you are putting form, the physical, before spirit or the force. So the devil card doesn't mean anything bad. It's just an opportunity to go, maybe I'm just really fixated on something that is hiding the truth from me. Maybe I am so fixated on the physicality of something that I'm missing the point entirely. So the devil card is actually a really powerful card and is one of my favorite cards because it really shows where I have been blinded, or my clients perhaps have been blinded by the physical appearance of something. You know, one of the things that I see often with the devil card is this idea that seeing is believing. And so often people have this attitude, and, you know I certainly have had that attitude in my life where it's like, well, I'll believe it when I see it, show it to me, and then I'll believe it. But really the truth is believing is seeing. When you open yourself to receive, when you open yourself to the possibility and the potential of what you can't see, that is when magic really begins to happen. And one of the things that I've been talking a lot about in my client sessions is trust what you can't see. Close your eyes, and whatever remains, that's what is real. That's what is true. And we so often get so hypnotized by this physical reality and the physical illusions. And it's so easy to lose sight and lose track of what's going on in here, because this is really what's real. And this in here is what created this out there. So one of the things that I'm seeing, and I love the engagement. So keep telling me what's going on for you with the solstice. Keep sharing with me through your emoji of choice where you have been. Because another thing that we are approaching is this turning point in July, when I really see that the new year doesn't really begin until around this time. I always feel like it's July to July is really the year. Yes, I'm so happy you did it, T. Kim Nu. T. Kim Nu was in the solstice gathering, and yeah, it did shift something inside. I felt it too. I was like, whoa, there was a big shift that happened. It was expansive. It was magical. It absolutely moved all of us beyond our previous limitations and our previous understanding of who we are and what we do, and what we're here to create. So one of the things that I'm seeing a lot coming up now, and I think the solstice really accelerated that, and I know that from my experience, this time of year through the, June through December, so the calendar year, we're talking about, our Gregorian calendar, Julian calendar, it is going to go by like that. It is going to be Christmas tomorrow, y'all. Like, seriously, the acceleration that happens from now to the end of the year is rapid and massive. And we have a lot of retrograde activity happening right now. So we're being given this opportunity to really review, revise, revisit, reassess, reevaluate, renegotiate. Retrograde is not out to get you. Come on, aren't we beyond the period in our spiritual journey where we're terrified of a planet going retrograde? Girl, you are not less powerful than a fucking planet. Get over this disempowerment victim. Oh God, Mercury's retrograde. Don't use your phone. Girl, please. The planets are not out to get you. They are a partner. Just like any card that I draw in the tarot is not out to get you. It's a partner. It's a messenger. It's an emissary for the divine saying, hey, this is what Mother Spirit wants you to look at. Hey, this is what's on the agenda right now. This is on your syllabus in the eternal, this eternal journey of growth and evolution and expansion. We have a lesson plan. And Mother Spirit has very specific things that we are here to experience. And you as a being who chose your physical experience had very specific things that you wanted to experience in any given lifetime. So where we are, and when anything is, when there's any retrograde activity happening, and right now we have some big, heavy planets going retrograde, like really, planets that move very slowly. It's an opportunity to revisit, revise, reevaluate, reassess. Retrograde of any kind is a beautiful opportunity to look at where that planet is in your chart, to look at what the archetype that planet represents, and begin to ask yourself, where do I have an opportunity to reevaluate, reform, renegotiate, recreate my experience, my reality, and my relationship with the things that this planet represents, which is also part of Dragon Alchemy. Interestingly, the first time I did the Dragon Alchemy course, which again, you can find the link tree in my bio, it's with 22 teachings. And one of the attendees, when we were working with fire that week, she was really afraid. And she was like, I have always had this fear of fire. And she's a water sign. I love this woman. She's a dear friend of mine. She's been a client of mine for years. And she is the quintessential Pisces. She is so watery and fluid in her life and her intuition, and she just lives in that watery, fluid space. And for her, fire felt very scary. It felt overwhelming. It felt too much. Like, I don't know what to do with all this energy and all this power. And it was a beautiful experience to watch her reclaim her authority. And fire is also a masculine element. It's a masculine force. So it's externally focused. It's about deciding. In the tarot, it's the wand is the suit of fire. So it's all about, I have this wand and I'm going to direct my energy. I'm going to direct my life. I'm going to tell people this is where I want it. This is how I need it. And this is where it goes. So whenever we're in a retrograde phase, and especially when we're at, it was like retrograde, then the new moon, then the solstice. So it was a beautiful setting for us to get really fucking clear on some really deep stuff. And one of the things that I am seeing come up consistently with this energy right now is this collective mourning and this collective grief that we are having because the way things were is gone. I see a lot of people waking up to the fact that, life before 2019, if we want to use COVID as a marker, there were a lot of people that up until very recently were still waiting. Okay, well, when are we going to go back to how it was? Girl, you're not. You're not. Something broke. And it needed to break. And just like if I break my arm, that arm may heal and I may have full use of my arm again, but it's never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same. It's different. It can't be the same. Because it was destroyed and then it had to be rebuilt and it had to be recreated. So I think that what I'm seeing a lot of us dealing with right now, and whether or not we're consciously aware of it, it is an emergence of this grief and this mourning for how things were. Because things aren't the same and they're never going to be the same. And so the way that we used to create, the way that we used to, get what we want and get what we need, the way that we used to manifest, the way that we were told, reality works, on all levels, whether it's just a physical, literal, like the banking system and the healthcare system and the political system, whether or not you're even aware of any of this spiritual stuff, whether or not you're even aware of these higher levels of awareness and the invisible realms, nobody on this planet can say with any sense of honesty that things are fine. Yeah, it's business as usual. Yeah, we had a little hiccup and now things are going back to the way they were. No, they are not. And so what we're seeing is the collapse of the old way of being, the old way of doing, the old way of living. And there are a lot of people carrying a whole lot of grief and need to do a whole lot of mourning for the way things were. Because it's not coming back. And thank God it's not coming back. Because I think if we're also really honest and look at the world and say, things have never really been great according to the monolithic systems and the rules of this is what makes you a good human or a good American or a good, German or a good Australian or whatever the claim is that we're using to define ourselves. Whether it's a zip code or a nationality or a race or a gender or a sexuality, whatever it is that we're using to label ourselves. All of that is changing and our perception of ourselves is changing. And these old ideas of like, oh, just give me your vote, give me your money, give me your power and I'll take care of you. We see that that is not true and it was never true. So the wool has been pulled, we're wiping away the illusion from our eyes. The emperor has no clothes. And I see a lot of people on many, many levels. And, if we're looking at like spiritual folks and those of us who dance with the energies and the unseen, we're also seeing, wow, manifestation is different now. And I was working with, and let me know if this is vibing with you. If you're feeling this, like give me a thumbs up, give me an emoji. If you're feeling this big change, it's like things just don't work the way they used to. And that doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's just, it doesn't work anymore. Even our relationship with time. I'm a big fan of Drag Race and I watch Drag Race every Friday and I have, thank you, Cass, I feel that. And I have a group text with a couple of friends and we all watch Drag Race, not together, but because we're all spread out throughout the world, but we communicate about it, we talk about it, we have our opinions and our follow-up about it. And I was saying to a friend today, thank God for Drag Race Fridays. Otherwise, I would have no idea what day it is. Like that is the marker in my week that tells me like, oh, today's Friday, tomorrow's Saturday, right? So my point here is that everything is changing. Our relationship with everything is changing, and here's why. because we know more about ourselves now. We have a sense of truth and understanding that has changed our perspective. Back in December, I've been talking about this for months, and I don't see a lot of people talking about this, and that's why I keep talking about this, because I think it's so crucial. Back in December, in the December solstice, around the 21st of December, there was a massive channel that opened, and there was a huge dissension of self. The higher self, soul self, creator self, whatever you call that. Hey, Kat, nice to see you, friend. And there was a huge dissension of information and energy. You know, light is information and it is energy. Light is a particle and a wave. So it was like a download. It was like a software update. And in this packet of light that we received collectively on around the 21st of December was a massive, massive piece of ourself. Because we have raised our vibration and the planetary vibration is raising, and that's why we're seeing these old structures fall, because they can't stand and they can't remain coherent in this vibration, because those structures were built from a lower frequency and a lower intention. And now that the energy is rising, they can't hang out. It's like trying to breathe at 30,000 feet. We can't. We need assistance. We need a different operating system. It's like walking on the bottom of the ocean. I need some sort of new way to engage with the environment. Thank you, Cass. I appreciate that. So it's what happened. As the frequency of the planet has raised, and we are moving into a new level of atmosphere, so to speak, now the aspects of self that are eternal, infinite, and pure light can actually move into our physical body, and we can embody them. That's what ascension is, y'all. Ascension is just the return to what you already are, but now you're doing it while you're in a body. So the amount of light and energy that we are housing in our containers is beyond anything we've ever experienced before. That's why a lot of these shifts are happening. And so around December 21st of last year, this massive chunk of self descended, and we got a big old download. And what happens when you download a software update? Your system reboots, your device goes off and then powers back up, and then all of that information just disseminates itself. It knows where to go and it knows what to do. And part of that shift, because the light comes in, the information comes in, and then because we're still in a physical density, it takes a minute to create the ripple effect, right? It takes a minute for the idea, the epiphany, the inspiration to turn into something physical, right? It's what I always say. What is the first step in building the airplane? The first step in building the airplane is the inspiration to look up at the sky and go, wow, I wonder what it would be like to fly like a bird. That is the first step in building an airplane. The first step in, building this pen, this marker would be like, wow, I wonder what it would be like to have a transparent ink that could highlight and change the color of things. Boom. 6 months later, my marker is born. So it's the same thing. When the creator self continues to descend into our form, it says, whoa, okay, here I am. I'm in a body, and now things are going to change because I am the truth. I am the word. I am the light. I am the real you, and I know what's up. And I know what you came here to do. And I'm also a part of the process of redefining what it means to be human. This is the birth of the human 2.0, the divine human, Homo luminous. So there's all of these things happening simultaneously, but what that means for us from our human perspective is things change. When you have new information about yourself, the way you navigate the world changes. When you have an understanding of who and what you really are, and now you feel it, you live it, you know it, the way that you engage with the world changes. It's like when you have a broken leg and you have to use a crutch or a cane, the way that you navigate and move through the world changes, and then the leg heals and you get rid of the crutch or the cane, and then the way that you navigate the world changes again. Think of it as like puberty. When you're a little baby human and you continue to mature and you go through these experiences and these markers on your growth, and it unlocks hormones and new impulses in the body, you change. You go from being helpless to crawling, to being able to pull yourself up, to crawling, to walking to running to then growing hair in strange places and your chest gets bigger and your crotch changes, all the things that happen. It's the same thing. It's just it's happening in a spiritual level. It's happening on a metaphysical, transphysical, non-physical level. We are being changed by our soul. It is our energetic impulse that is changing us. And when you have a new understanding of who you really are, it shifts how you navigate the world. A different environment and a different experience requires a different version of you. Think of it this way. You are not the same person as you are with your parents, with your best friends, with your partner, your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriend, your sibling. It's all you, but you have a different way of engaging. There's certain things that are appropriate and acceptable and certain things that aren't. So it's the same thing. So that's what really went down in December. And then the past 6 months have been about integrating that energy and integrating those changes. And that is going to change the way that you navigate the world, how you perceive yourself, what you think is possible, and how you go about creating the reality that you want and that you prefer. And that's where we are. And so when I'm talking about this grief or this mourning, it is about understanding that the way we used to do things, the way we used to believe, the things that we used to think were true, we're starting to see that fall apart and fall away. And the human is often having a really challenging time understanding that. I was just working with a friend the other day, and she was having some challenges and some difficulties. And so we were doing some work together, and I was like, okay, let's drop in and let's see what's happening. And what we really realized is it was her nervous system. Her nervous system was so on edge and so activated because it was like, I'm the one that keeps things together. I'm the one that keeps things even and balanced and on an even keel, and everything has changed and I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. And so it's like we're hanging on to these old beliefs and these old identities, hanging on to them for dear life because we don't know what else to do or where else to go. But here's the T. When you let go is when you see, oh, I can float. Oh, I can fly. Oh, I can swim. I don't need the old structures anymore. I don't need the old perspectives or beliefs or identities anymore. So we have to be willing to let go. We have to be willing to dance with the unknown. We have to be willing to allow the chaos that is pure creation to come in. Because here's the other piece. Creativity requires chaos. Creativity requires a collapse of something. If I have a brand new pristine canvas in front of me, creativity requires me to mess that canvas up. It is no longer unmarked. It is no longer pristine and free from any sort of embellishment. I got to mess it up. I got to fuck it up. I got to get it dirty with paint. If I'm going to bake, I got to break some eggs. I got to melt some butter. I got to burn some sugar. So I think that often it's the chaos component that we are terrified of. Because chaos isn't interested in your agenda, babe. Chaos isn't interested in how you want it to go down. Chaos can certainly be harnessed and you can say, like, this is what I really would love to create and this is what I hope for. This is what I'm intending to create. And chaos comes in and says, all right, cool. Here's how it's going to happen. This is what's really going to get done. So let me know if this is this resonating with you. Are you connecting with this? Is this ringing any bells for you? Because I really think it's important that we acknowledge the grief that so many of us are holding about the changes that we've gone through and the fact that the world is never going to be the same again. Doesn't mean you can't thrive. Doesn't mean you can't be happy. Doesn't mean you won't continue to have success and joy and abundance and all those things. It's just it's going to happen in a different way. And it may not look like what it used to. It may not look the same anymore. And it certainly is not going to arrive in the same way. I talk a lot about my gardening and my farming. And first and foremost, it's just a source of joy for me. I love to be out there digging in the dirt. But it's also, for me, a reclamation of my own authority and my own sovereignty. When the supply chains were interrupted, a couple of years ago and things were really scarce at the grocery store, I thought, fuck this, man. I am not going to be beholden to a broken system. I am not going to be a slave to a fucking government institution that can't get its shit together. I'm going to grow my own damn food. I'm going to learn how to preserve. I'm going to learn how to ferment. I'm going to learn how to really, really bake some really, advanced stuff, because I want to be able to do for myself. I want to get rid of the middleman. I want to unplug from the system that says, oh, sorry, we don't have any of that. You're just going to have to wait. No, I don't. I'm going to just go grow it myself. I'll make it myself. And if I can't grow it, or if I can't make it, then I'm going to connect with my neighbors and my collaborators and my co-creators and my tribe of people and say, hey, you've got the chickens, you give me the eggs, I've got the herbs and the flowers and the vegetables, I'll give you the tomatoes, so-and-so down the road has the cows for the dairy or whatever, right? So, hey, Sandra. So it's really, really important that we begin to think in those terms, like, what can I do for myself? What can I do in partnership with other people? What can I do for my community? So it's important to acknowledge the grief. I think that, thank you, Cass, I so appreciate it. Yes, exactly. You can focus on your own needs and keep yourself rooted and grounded in what you need, and also do for other people. And unless I am doing for myself, I'm probably not going to be able to do really well for you, right? It's like you put on your own oxygen mask first, and then you assist others. So take care of what you need to take care of so that you are full and stable and grounded and rested and hydrated and well fed. And then you can go out there and spread the love, spread the help, spread the support, and connect with other people. And you don't even have to have an agenda. You can just say, hey, I want to create something together. I want to cut out the middleman. I don't want to have to go to the store for my groceries anymore. This is what I grow. What do you grow? What do you know how to do? How can we trade? How can we collaborate? So we share our gifts, we share our resources, and we see that we don't have to deplete the planet to get what we need. This old depletion model where we just say, well, just dig in the dirt until you get it all up, and then when it's gone, we'll just, vacate and leave the planet in a mess. No, it doesn't have to be like that. Nature shows us that we can get what we need and what we want, and also care for the planet, and also leave things in better condition than they were when we found them. It's possible. It's just, don't go look into the matrix to tell you that it's possible or how it's possible or even give you permission. This is the time in human history where we just got to do for ourselves. We got to turn to our neighbors and say, hey, what is it that you want? What is it that you need? Here's what I want. Here's what I need. How can we help each other? Because in this world where we are so divided and we are being programmed, we are being socially engineered to believe that, oh, they're the enemy because they voted for that person. Oh, they're the enemy because that's their political affiliation. Oh, they're the enemy because that's how they look. Oh, they're the enemy because that's the pronoun that they choose. This is all bullshit. This is what I know. In the 10 years I have been doing this work, what I know without a doubt is that we all want the same things. We want to be healthy. We want to be safe. We want to be able to do for ourselves and our loved ones. We want access to clean water and healthy food and clean air. We want to be given a shot. We want to feel loved. We want to feel seen. We want to feel acknowledged. We want to be accepted just as we are, warts and all. And I know that when you get a bunch of humans around a table, regardless of their background, regardless of their, affiliation, regardless of their biological labels, we all want the same things. We all need the same things. We all cry. We all laugh. We all have tragedy and trauma and joy and success. So the sooner we just shut out all the noise of the matrix and the programming and say, you know what? I don't believe that everyone is my enemy. I don't believe that everyone who looks like that, talks like that, votes like that, says those things is out to get me. They want the same things I want. They're just going about it in a different way. So let me be curious. So we have to be willing to put our biases aside and ask some deep questions of ourselves and listen. And so the solstice, I really think, was a turning point when we really begin to accept that things aren't going back to the way they were. They can't. We do not live in a regressive reality. And the only reason anything ever repeats in our experience is because we have new information about it. So because we have a lot of retrograde activity happening right now, you may be seeing old things pop back up. And it's very easy to go, oh God, here we go again. I thought I dealt with that. I thought I cleared that. Well, it's just because you have new information about it. It's not because you did anything wrong. It's not because you were bad at meditating or whatever. You just have new information. So I'm going to draw some tarot cards, and we're just going to look at like what's kind of shaken down after the solstice. Like, where are we collectively? Obviously, this is collective pull. If you want a private reading, you can find the Linktree link in my bio, or just go to my website, amar.energy, and you can book a session there. I do the energy balancing sessions. I do the private tarot readings. I also have a new session called the Deep Dive, which is 90 minutes, and we go in really deep into your inner space and really, really kind of unbox and really look at what's happening. They're really, really powerful sessions. But now we're going to look at, so check out the Linktree, because I want you guys to read about Dragon Alchemy too. That course coming up with 22 teachings is so powerful and fun. Really, really fun. And if you already have a magical background and you have some elemental or tarot or astrology background, I think that you'll find this is a really, really beautiful fit with all of the knowledge and information that you already have. Excuse me. And then also you can purchase the Solstice replay if you want to purchase that 90 minutes of channeled information and energy work. It's a really, really powerful one too. All right, so let's pull some cards. Thank you, Sandra. It was so lovely to work with you. I really enjoyed our session. Yeah, my goal has always been with my work, and this is maybe not the most, sustainable model, I don't know, but my goal has always been to get people to the point where they don't need me. You have everything you need within. And sometimes it helps to have someone remind you of that. Sometimes it helps to have someone help you unlock that. Sometimes it helps to have someone say, hey, well, this is what worked for me. And also to have someone who is impartial, who can really look at everything and say, this is what I see. This is what's going on. Try this. Thank you, Cass. I so appreciate it. So, tarot. What's going on? What can we know about what's shaken down, what's settling, what came loose during the solstice? That was a good one. And the deck I'm using is the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot. I love this deck. The artwork is so beautiful. It's very Anglo-centric. Like, I think pretty much every figure in this deck is, Caucasian. But if that doesn't mean anything to you, or that's not really super important to you, then I highly recommend this deck, because the artwork is gorgeous. And I just love Art Nouveau. That's one of my favorite eras of art or genres. All right. Well, yeah, this all looks pretty much par for the course. So the first card that I'm asking for is, okay, like what is representing you? And obviously, again, this is a collective reading. Private readings are going to be more specific. But the King of Cups reversed. This is what I'm saying when things are changing. King of Cups is the king of water. The cup is the heart. The cup is a feminine symbol. The cup is the element of water. And the king is represented by fire. The kings are always fire. So this is like the fire of water. And when we mix fire and water, things get steamy. Things get foggy. Sometimes we can't really see. Sometimes it's kind of uncomfortable. I'm thinking of like a sauna, or like when you're stepping outside and it's really, really foggy and you can't necessarily see super clearly. And when the King of Cups is reversed, really the message that I'm getting, again, it's what I was saying at the beginning. Thank you, Amy. I love you too. Close your eyes, and whatever remains is what is real. Start paying attention to the things you can't see. Pay attention to what's happening. The cup also represents the vessel, the body. And when we're in our feminine state, feminine is about receptivity. The cup is a vessel waiting to be filled. Filled with what? The heart's desires, the purpose that Spirit sent you here with. The things that light you up, the things that you do just because you love to do them, and it doesn't matter if you get paid or recognized, you just do it because you love it. It's that nudge, it's that intuitive voice that says, hey, go over here and try that thing. Hey, what about that? Hey, what if you email that person that you never got back to or whatever? So King of Cups, and the thing I love about the King of Cups is the King of Cups is a male figure, a male energy, and it has nothing to do with gender. You have masculine and feminine within you. You're male and female. So the King of Cups is the masculine self who knows how to ride the waves of emotion, who knows how to ride the waves of chaos in the because feminine in her purest sense is just chaos. The pure feminine energy and frequency and vibration is non-linear. It's not intellectual. It doesn't necessarily make sense. That's the whole conflict. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. It's because women and the feminine is speaking a different language. It's not about fixing. It's not about understanding. It's about being. And so the King of Cups is that masculine self that has learned how to ride those waves and is comfortable surfing, right? If you're tired of getting knocked down by the waves, learn how to surf. So King of Cups reversed, I see a couple of things. Number one, the cup is emptying out. So I think it's important to ask yourself, do I still want the same things? Are the same things still important to me? Is the goal that I had in mind when I started, and also this is also served by all the retrogrades we have happening right now. And Venus is retrograde right now. And Venus is often related to the physical, material, gifts and sensual delights that we experience. And a lot of times it's also our money. And so the cup is upside down because I think we're being given an opportunity to empty it out and say, I don't want that anymore. I wanted it a year ago, but now I want something different. I thought that's what I wanted, but then I got it and I was like, oh, actually, I don't really like this. So giving yourself permission to change your mind, giving yourself permission to revisit, revise, review, renegotiate, reassess. That's what retrograde is all about. And King of Cups is saying, you are not a failure because you want something different. You are not a failure because you want to walk away from something, right? I walked away from my YouTube channel, essentially. I still post stuff occasionally on there. I repost my Instagram lives on my YouTube. You can find it Amar Energy. I still post my podcast episodes there. And there's a catalog, an archive of 10 years of stuff that is super valuable if you're willing to dig around and look at some old videos. But walking away from that doesn't mean I failed. I was just ready for something different. So allow yourself, because the ego often is saying, oh, you can't quit now. Don't walk away. What will they say? What will they think? Do you want to be a failure? Do you want to be a quitter? Look, I'm not quitting if it's something that I'm not interested in anymore. I'm moving on. And winning and losing are only applicable if I'm still playing the game. And if I decide, you know what, I'm not playing this game anymore, then I'm not a winner or a loser because I'm no longer playing the game. So King of Cups is giving you the opportunity and permission to reevaluate and really ask, do the things that I wanted and the things that I'm striving for and the things that I'm working for, are they still what I want? And most importantly, do they still fill me up? Do they fill my cup? Do they please and fulfill my heart? Is this what the soul wants for me? Because that's the other thing, is we are constantly growing and evolving and expanding. We are not static. So what you wanted 20 years ago may not be what you want now, and that's okay. Do you still want the same things you wanted when you were 5 years old? No, you grow and evolve and you mature. Would you still date the same kind of person you dated 20 years ago? I know I wouldn't. God, I dodged so many bullets in my dating life. Because at the time it was like, oh God, he's the one. Why won't he love me? Why can't I make this last? Why won't it work? And now I look back and I'm like, thank God it didn't happen. Thank God that relationship fell apart. I dodged a bullet. So you're not being rejected, you're being redirected, or you're being protected. Think of it that way. So King of Cups reversed is saying you might feel upside down right now, but that's okay. That's what you need. It's like the universe is holding you up by your ankles and shaking it out. And then whatever stays and whatever sticks, now you can go, oh, now I'm dealing with the real stuff. Now I'm dealing with what wants to stay and what wants to stick around. And so King of Cups reversed is giving you an opportunity to really question and really look at what you're doing and where you're investing yourself. And it doesn't mean that things will change either. You might go, yeah, actually, I did a really honest inventory and I feel good. I feel good. So you are the authority. You are the authority. And the King of Cups, also, the masculine is our doing self. Our masculine energy is the one that picks up the hammer and gets it done. And the masculine must always move in service of the feminine. Otherwise, it's just a bull in the china shop knocking shit over and creating havoc, because the masculine needs that feminine impulse to use to create with. So the feminine comes in and she says, I'm not feeling that anymore. That doesn't feel like what I want. I don't want that. We're changing it. Get rid of it. I'm done with that. And the masculine goes, oh, okay. All right, cool. So then we got to let the old thing fall apart, or we've got to actively dismantle it. That's also part of the masculine's job, is if the feminine says, no, I don't want that anymore. Tear that down. We're going to build something new. All right, get on my tools. Go tear it down. And then we have the clear space. And then the feminine says, this is what I want. This is the vibe. This is the flavor. This is the energy that I want. And the masculine says, okay, cool. I can get behind that. So the masculine in service of the feminine really is how it works. So if you're finding yourself bumping up against the wall over and over, and you're like, oh my God, it's just a dead end. Nothing I'm doing is happening. Nothing I want to do is manifesting. I'm not gaining any traction. I'm not making any progress. That's an opportunity to drop in and say, okay, am I missing something? Has the game changed? Are we moving in a new direction now and I just didn't get it? Or again, like I was saying, the grief and the mourning that many of us need to do to let go of the old ways, the old beliefs, the old identities. We just don't do it like that anymore. So things are emptying out, and that's okay. Give yourself permission to let it go. And how do you let go? Probably the opposite of what you think. Letting go doesn't mean you just move it out. Letting go means you pull it close and you say, baby, I love you. Give you all so many kisses. I'm so grateful for everything that you have been for me. And now it's time for you to collapse. So I pull it in. I feel it. I sit with it. I love it. And I allow it. And then it begins to move through my system and evaporates out. So then we're looking at kind of what's at play right now. The Chariot, no surprise. And we're in Cancer season, and this is the card of Cancer. And the Chariot, here's the deal with the Chariot. The Chariot is not about the charioteer. The Chariot is not about the beasts that pull the chariot. The Chariot is about the chariot. Everything else moves and works in service of the vehicle. Right? Same thing. The masculine, the thing, works in service of the feminine. It is the feminine that drives it. And this masculine figure is adorned in the moon, right? Look at all these lunar aspects and the stars and the wings. Like, it's all these feminine archetypes. And here's the charioteer showing up as the servant of that feminine impulse and that feminine self. So the question with the Chariot and the message with the Chariot is, what are you building now? Now that you've rested in your King of Cups reversed, and you've asked the tough questions, and you've made the hard decisions, and you've let things go, now it's time to build something new. And here's the thing with the Chariot, too, that's important to acknowledge. I need a little pointer. The charioteer is waiting. The beasts are waiting to pull it. It's all ready for you. You have everything you need. You just got to decide, what am I building? And what direction are we going? The charioteer is waiting for you to say, okay, we're going down here. Then you're going to take a right. Then you're going to go for 3 miles, take a left, and I'll meet you in the parking lot. That's what the charioteer is waiting for. But if you're not clear on what you're building and where you're going and what it is that's driving your bus, what is the fuel in your tank, then you're just going to be going in circles. You're just going to be wasting everybody's time and everybody's energy. So think about what has come up for you as of late, especially over the past 6 months. And we have Jupiter or Pluto that went back into Capricorn and will stay there until the beginning of 2024. Pluto in Capricorn is a beautiful opportunity to look at the systems in your life. How am I making my money? How am I making my decisions? How am I running the organizational aspects of my life? Capricorn is a great director, a great producer, a great planner. So tap into that Capricorn energy and ask, like, okay, because Pluto is all about transformation. So when you're asking what is ready to be transformed, it's the systems in your life that are ready to be transformed. And the chariot and the charioteer and the beasts that pull the charioteer, those are a system. So it's really important now to be asking, what do I really want to do? Where do I want to invest myself? What do I want to give my life to? And so the charioteer is ready to go. And it's saying, baby, when you're ready, I'm here. All you have to do is say the word. But are you willing to move in that direction? That's also a question that comes often with the chariot. And being the card of Cancer, Cancer is about healing. Cancer is about nurture. Cancer is the universal mother. She is intuitive. She is deep. Those waters run deep, and she knows. She knows what you're feeling and what's happening before you even open your mouth. So you can't really trick a Cancer. You can't, the illusions with Cancer, they're like, no, that looks really pretty, but that's not what I feel. And above all, I trust what I feel. Again, the seduction of the physical illusion when we're talking about the devil card just a few minutes ago. So the chariot shows up to say, this period in your life in the past 6 months have been clearing the way. They've been clearing the path. So let those things fall. Let those shifts happen so that you can see clearly now. We also have Temperance reversed. You know, Temperance reversed, right now what it's feeling like is, has your time of rest turned into laziness? Has your period of saying, oh, I just want to unplug and just like take a moment, has your self-care turned into avoiding, right? What you're calling, oh, I'm just taking care of myself. Are you really? Because temperance to me is all about moderation, right? And, you know, to temper things, to soften the edges, to smooth the edges, to take a break, to stop and rest by the pool with Archangel Michael while, you know, Michael's pouring you a cup of something. But to see it reversed, I think it's important to start to ask, okay, where am I calling it self-care, but it's just me being avoidant? That's also one of, you know, we're in Cancer season now, and one of the shadows of Cancer is indulging in the emotion and not being willing to let go of the emotion. It's what I call emotional hoarding. A lot of times we hang on to these old emotional experiences or we hold grudges because it feels so powerful, and we can remember the anger that we felt or the joy that we felt or the ecstasy that we felt or the frustration that we felt, and we get addicted to our emotional states. And there's a very important distinction between feeling and emotion. The feeling is the feeling, right? Oh, there's anger. Oh, there's sadness. Oh, there's joy. Oh, there's excitement. The emotion is the story that you tell about the feeling. Oh, there's anger. Oh God, I'm feeling anger. Oh my God, what did I do? What have I done? I can't be angry. That's not spiritual, right? The difference is you just feel what you feel, but the emotion is when you take it personally and create a story around it. And the shadow of Cancer and the shadow of a lot of water signs is to be controlled by the emotional body, to feel powerless and helpless to the emotional body. Because here's the other thing, feelings are not facts. What you're feeling is what you're feeling. No one's questioning that, but it doesn't mean that it's an actual factual representation of what's happening. And I always think of feelings aren't facts, like in a court of law. If you're on trial and you're on the witness stand and the judge says, why did you do it? Why'd you break the law? Well, I was angry. Okay, but why'd you break the law? Because I was angry, but you broke the law. But I was angry. I don't care. You still broke the law. So feelings aren't facts. So I think that Temperance reversed is, again, big, deep, challenging questions for us to be asking ourselves. Where are you hiding from your responsibility? Where are you using spiritual magical thinking and just kind of putting your head, yes, waiting for something? Where have you fallen into the trap of waiting to be received, waiting to be rescued? You know, what I often find for myself, part of my shadow, is when I'm working on a really big project or I'm in a big period of transition and I look at something like a monolith, right? I'm like, how the hell do I climb the mountain? Oh my God, it's so big, it's so much, it's so overwhelming. And I just kind of shut down. And then I go into savior mode. I'm just waiting for my white knight. I'm waiting to be rescued. I'm waiting for someone, the universe, the angels, a friend, a benefactor, the lottery, Oprah. I'm just waiting for someone to come rescue me and say, here it is, take it. So temperance reversed is, yes, take care of yourself. Yes, take the time you need to rest and, recharge and refuel, but don't get lazy with it. Don't get indulgent in it. Don't fall into that Cancer shadow of, well, I have a feeling and I'm having an emotion, so I need to wrap myself in a blanket and eat chips and chocolate for the next 3 days and just watch Netflix. Okay, do ya? Or is that just easier than taking care of your shit? Is that just easier than being objective with your emotional state and pushing back on yourself and saying, baby, I know you were frustrated and I know you're upset, but you can't hang out and frustrated and upset forever and expect everyone else to do the heavy lifting. And then the last one, and I love this one, 6 of Coins reversed. Six of Coins, 6 of Pentacles, both the same thing. This card, to me, is all about reciprocity. And this card, to me, is all about the balance, right? And we see this in the 6 of Coins. There's a scale right here. And this person is giving, right? This person is giving alms to the poor. This person is giving change to the homeless person or the charity or to those who perhaps don't have as much, right? The 6 of Coins is, I have plenty and I'm going to share. And that's how we keep the flow going, right? When I just let myself continue to give, then I continue to receive. But 6 of Coins reversed, and the coin, the pentacle, is the earth element. This is all about your earthly, physical stuff, your house, your home, your money, your body, your job, all the stuff. And so to see 6 of Coins reversed, to me, this is all about unhealthy beliefs around money. And there's this one that we in spiritual circles love to continue to beat the drum of over and over, that somehow money is a bad thing and somehow materialism is a bad thing and somehow I shouldn't ask for money and I shouldn't expect to get paid for my work. Baby, I don't know anybody that works for free. And if they do, it's because they probably don't have to get paid. So I think there's a couple things at play. Number one, where are you not being realistic about your value? Where are you not being honest about what you need to get shit done? Look, I get it. As a spiritual entrepreneur and as someone who moves with energies and the unseen and dances with the currents of the universe, it can be really easy. And, temperance reversed, it can be really easy to say, oh, I'm just not feeling it. The energy's not there. So I'm not going to do it. Okay, that's important, and that's, I think, a meaningful thing to acknowledge, but at the same time, girl, if you have bills to pay, and you're saying, well, I'm just not feeling energetically like I should go to work. Okay, well then, what are you feeling energetically about the fucking bills you have to pay? What are you feeling energetically about the lease that you signed and the agreements that you made to pay, $1,200 a month in rent? How's the energy there, right? And how the hell are you going to bring in the resources that you need to make good on the agreements that you have made? So 6 of Coins reversed is also saying, give to yourself. Nobody needs a martyr, babe. You don't get extra points for martyrdom. Climb down off the cross and use the wood to build something useful, okay? Martyrdom is going to get you absolutely nowhere. And that program is dead in the water. It's old news. It's fake news. There is no room for martyrdom in an empowered life. Spirit is not asking you to suffer and sacrifice. Spirit is not asking you to play small. Spirit is also not telling you to just pretend that your debts and your difficulties and your problems don't exist. You're the human. You're the one in the body. You're the one driving the chariot, right? You're the one deciding, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. And you're the one responsible for the choices that you make. And if you're not giving to yourself, again, the Cancer shadow, I'm just going to sit here and hope that people can see that I'm frustrated. I'm just going to sit here and wait for somebody to intuitively figure out what I need, rather than saying, hey, I need something. Hey, I need help. You got to be willing to ask for help. You got to be willing to ask for help if you want to receive. And I know that many people in our spiritual world and just the world in general have a real hard time with asking for help and receiving. And it may be you're at a point where you need to have some real talk conversations. Guys, I painted myself into a corner. I can't do this on my own. I need help. Can you help me? And they say, yeah. Or they say, no, I can't, but let me, hook you up with someone who can. So 6 of Pentacles, 6 of Coins reversed. Be really, really clear. We also have, Venus retrograde. And that's a lot of what Venus is. Like, are you giving more to other people and then you come up short consistently every month? That's not a spiritual thing. The Creator is not asking you to suffer and struggle and go without and go into debt so that other people can eat. Your compassion and your love and your charity must also include you. Charity begins at home. So if you're not seeing love coming in, if you're not seeing compassion coming in, if you're not seeing abundance coming in, where are you limiting yourself from it? Where are you saying no to it? Where are you cutting yourself off? And abundance doesn't just mean money. You can have abundance of time. You can have an abundance of interest. You can have abundance of knowledge and abundance of information. So 6 of Coins reversed, again, we're in that phase right now where we have a beautiful opportunity to ask these tough questions and get really real with ourselves to make some very real shifts. Because, like I was saying at the beginning, the way that we do things is different. The old world isn't really applicable anymore. The old rules aren't valid anymore. The old depletion-based models aren't real. This corporate capitalistic idea that's especially present in Western culture, especially prevalent in the US, is this idea that financial growth can happen every year just forever, that there's infinite growth, that we're always going to be profitable. No. Somebody somewhere is going without. In order for a company to see growth year after year after year after year, something is being sacrificed somewhere. I used to work for a makeup company years ago, and in the beginning, this makeup company was independent. And they had a lot of amazing ideas and a lot of amazing values, this makeup company did. And in the beginning, when I worked for this makeup company, they said, we'll never do this, we'll never do that. These are the things that we would never do. Well, this makeup company decided to sell to Estee Lauder. And Estee Lauder, for those of you who are in the cosmetic industry or the retail industry, it is a behemoth corporation. Estee Lauder owns, I don't know anymore, but at one point they owned something like 60 to 70% of the brands that you see in a cosmetic department in a department store. Most of those were owned by Estee Lauder. And Estee Lauder has a lot of shareholders, and they have a board of directors, and they have a lot of people who have a lot of things to say about how they spend their money and how they get their profits. Don't you know, slowly over time, this company started to do the things they said they'd never do. They started to break the rules that they at one point had said, this is gospel, this will never change. Meanwhile, profits are booming. CEOs and, the CFO and all the people in charge, this little group of individuals, they're making more money. They're getting raises. They're getting, their life is getting better and better. But the people at the bottom started to suffer and struggle. The quality of the product started to struggle and suffer. This brand had to start selling in channels and in stores that they said they never would. They started marking their product down, which they said they never would. My point here is that this idea that we will always be profitable and we're just going to continue to see, double-digit growth forever is a fucking lie. It doesn't happen without somebody on the other end losing something, because again, we don't create matter or energy, we only transform it. So if I'm taken from here, then this falls apart and I rebuild it over here. Well, now there's a vacuum here. There's a void here. So 6 of Coins reversed. Where are you not being honest? And where are you still drinking the Kool-Aid of the corporate lie? So there's some really, really big questions that want to be asked right now. There are some really, really big issues that really need your time, your love, and your attention. And here's the thing. None of them are too big. I promise you, the reason that it's in front of you is because it's time for you to really get honest about it and go, okay, this is the time. And to ask yourself these really deep questions. And King of Cups reversed, which is representing your energy right now, is that question. Do the things that I say that I want, do they really fulfill me? Do the things that I give my time, my attention, my resources to, do they really feed me in return? That's really what Six of Coins is about, is reciprocity. You give and you give and you give, and you're not getting, well, then start looking more closely at your idea of giving. Start looking more closely at where are there imbalances, because I get it. If you have an issue with asking for help, if you have an issue with asking for support, I understand. That used to be me. I used to have such a hard time asking for support, asking for help. But in the end, I was the only one that could ask for help. Do I really expect, people, I'm bleeding on the street. Hopefully someone will see, oh, I would love it if somebody saw that I need help, rather than saying, hey, I'm bleeding over here, I need help. So in the end, nobody can help you unless you ask. And in a free will reality that we live in, a lot of the assistance that we're waiting for can only come in if we say, okay, I need help. And here's the other thing. I see this all the time. I want a sign. Where's a sign? Then you get the sign. You go, oh, I don't want that sign. I want the sign that continues to allow me to avoid my shit. I want the sign that continues to allow me to look over here and pretend that things aren't on fire. I want the sign that doesn't require me to do hard work and ask tough questions. Well, that's life, babe. Sometimes you got to eat your vegetables before you get your ice cream. That's just how it is. So I think T. Kim Nu is asking, where does that pattern come from? I think at the root of it is an inability to receive. Sometimes it's a control issue, right? Sometimes we say, oh, I need help. Oh, no, not like that. Here, just let me do it, right? Because we think there's only one way. Hello, Mega Virgo here. I'm guilty of that so many times. And also, it's a worthiness thing. Oh, I don't deserve it. Oh, I don't want to bother them. Oh, it's okay. Oh, it won't be enough. Oh, it won't be good enough. Oh, I don't want to, I don't want to intrude. I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be needy. I don't want to be a burden. I think that's what's at the root of a lot of how to solve it. That's a conversation for a private session. That's way too involved, I think. But really, begin to ask the part of you that says, oh, I don't deserve it. Why not? That's the prompt. Oh, it won't be good enough. I don't want to bother them. Why is it bothering them? Why? Just ask those questions. Ask the voices that say, oh, but I can't. Why? Why? Tell me why. This is my favorite journaling prompt. You can do whatever you want. You just have to tell me why. Why do I want it? Why do I avoid it? Why do I chase it? Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with me today. If you want to book private sessions, go to amar.energy. Look at the link tree in my bio to sign up for the Dragon Alchemy course. I'm telling you, it's fucking magic. It is personal alchemy and transformation in real time. Sign up for that. You can also purchase the Solstice replay. It was 90 minutes of channeled information and energy work. I will be sending out a newsletter soon with all the things that are happening in July. So you can sign up for my newsletter also on my website, amar.energy. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, T. Kim Nu. Thank you, Ultraviolet. So happy to see all of you. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you have a fabulous Saturday, a fabulous weekend. Tomorrow, for all the temple members, remember, is the Temple Sundays gathering. If you're not a member of the temple, you can use the link in my bio to sign up for a week free. It's my private online community where we do amazing things. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with me today, everyone. I love you. Mwah. Happy Cancer season. Happy almost July. I'll see you guys soon.